My name is Colleen Scantlebury, and I was diagnosed with KC, keratoconus, in 1983. Prior to that, I wore spectacles for 10 years and found that my eyesight was getting progressively worse in the early 1980s, even though my glasses became thicker and thicker. I was diagnosed by Harcourt Carter and didn't believe it. This was the first time I was hearing the word keratoconus, and I wanted to know what it meant. And Dr. Haslett, no, it wasn't Haslett at the time, I think Mrs. Dean, she's the person who actually told me that I had HC. I didn't believe it, so I went for a second opinion. I went to Dr. Reefer, who at the time, I think he was the only person who was doing corneal transplants in Barbados. And he confirmed that I had KC. He went further to tell me that I would have to use the rigid gas permeables, RGPs, and so that my vision would be, considerably better. And he said to me that the KC should slow down. He was wrong, as you will see, as I believe that my deterioration in eyesight may have been self-inflicted. I got the lenses, and I think, well, they worked fine and everything else, but after the first week, I think I broke one in cleaning. I thought that I wasn't cleaning, they weren't clean enough, so I spoke to one of my colleagues. She also wear RGPs, and she told me, well, okay, Colleen, be firm, you clean them, and clean them until squeaky clean. But what she failed to tell me that I had to be gentle and not to put too much pressure, so I kept on putting pressure, and it broke in half, so that was in the first week. I lost a couple after that, and I then realized that in addition to plugging the sink, I would put a paper towel on top or a washcloth when I would travel on business meetings to business places. The lenses worked wonderfully until the late 1990s, when they started to shift and would slip up here, slip there, slip here. My family couldn't bear to see me doing what I was doing, so what I used to apply rewetting drops, and I would flex my eyes, and I would push, come up, push, come up, da da da. It never hurt, but in the process, I was scratching my cornea, and I didn't know that. Then one day, I found that I could not. The glare bothered me a lot. I couldn't wear, even when I wore decent sunglasses, I found that the glare still bothered me. And so I found a temporary fix. I would go to work early in the morning around 7:15 and then leave in the evening 5:15, 6 o'clock, when the glare was not as severe. Then one day I woke up with excruciating pain in my eyes and unable to open them because of the glare again. It hurt to open. So I immediately went to my ophthalmologist, and she diagnosed that I had severe corneal scarring and that I had developed ulcers to both eyes, and that after treatment that I would have to undergo a corneal transplant. But I started to freak out. I burst out crying, and I called my family, I called friends, and she put me on 3 weeks sick leave, and I had to use eye drops during the day. I wore patches on both eyes. All I could do was lie down, sleep. I could do nothing but listen to the radio or TV or sleep. Anyway, I went back to her, and on my follow-up visit, she said to me that the eyes had healed nicely. No need for the corneal transplant, but I had to wear piggybacks to protect the cornea from any further trauma while wearing the RGPs. Having to wear 2 types of lenses meant that I had to buy, of course, 2 types of solutions, one for soft and one for hard, as people who would wear piggybacks know that. In the initial stages, the piggybacks prescribed by my optometrist were not fitting comfortably. They weren't comfortable. I could feel it, piggyback plus the hard lens. And so, because the brands in Barbados at the time were very limited, so I decided to visit Bascom Palmer Eye Institute in Miami and was fitted with disposable piggybacks and new RGPs, Rose K's. At the time, well, that coincided with the new prescription, so I decided to do both at the same time, the piggybacks and new lenses. I was given ProClear soft lenses. Those are disposable. I had to change them every month. And they work beautifully with the RGPs. After that, I would order the ProClears online through 1-800 contacts. Everything was fine until 1999 when my RGP started to fall out. January 16, 2001 is a day I would never forget. I was walking through the VIP lounge at the gymnasium to go and see Luther Vandross. He was the headliner at the Barbados Jazz Festival. And as I was walking through, one lens fell out. My friend's Unidrill, Cecilia, who was here at the last meeting, she was with me, and I had another friend, and they told people I should stop. Once at the back to stop, the ones behind me to stop. And we frantically, I think they thought we were mad, we frantically got on the ground and we were looking for the lens and stuff like that. I found it. And thank God the evening went smoothly without any further mishaps. But then from time to time after that, the lenses they were falling out all the time. And I went back to my optometrist, and he told me that I must have the surgery, as the layer of the cornea was very thin, it was steep, it was bulging, and there was a lot of scarring. But I was very petrified of getting the surgery. So I went to many ophthalmologists. Dr. Barker was one. I went to ophthalmologists, from ophthalmologists to ophthalmologists, optometrists, and they all told me the same thing: you must undergo surgery. But I just wanted to defy the odds, so I returned to HC, Hook Heart, in 2013, and I spoke to my optometrist, and I asked him if he was sure that there wasn't anything that could be done, because I was not ready and I did not want this surgery. So then he told me about Boston Foundation for Sight, BFS. He recommended that I go for a consultation to see if they could help me. BFS is a renowned international nonprofit eye care organization located in the USA, Boston. Its aim is to improve the quality of life for persons with complex keratoconus and other chronic problems of the eye surface, example, dry eye syndrome and also Stevens-Johnson syndrome. There's a lab on site, and it makes FDA-approved, custom-designed and fabricated prosthetic devices, commonly known as PROS devices, to replace and repair ocular surface diseases, like what the good optometrist was saying just now. Okay, so the PROS is a special and unique kind of scleral lens. The device is the size of a quarter and sits beneath the upper and lower eyelid, as you will know. I'm wearing one in my right eye. That's why I don't have one in my left eye. I only have one. That's why my eye appears to be a lot bigger than the left eye. I visited BFS for my consultation in May 2012, and it was found that the trial devices would give good comfort. I then made arrangements to visit them the following year to be fitted with PROS. Due to the fact that I was a new patient, I had to stay in Boston for close to 10 working days, and you'll see why. The service at BFS is exemplary, and I can't say enough about the staff, so kind and patient. First, the ophthalmologist, you go through a series of tests first, and then you will see the ophthalmologist, and he would try to fit you the right prescription. And 2 to 3 days, I went through more than a dozen pairs of lenses. Then they had to make sure that they were comfortable, and that also took several days and many lenses before they could find the right fit for me. It was so convenient to have the lab on site, as the lenses could be adjusted or new lens made. Then teaching you to put them in and out, put in and take out, was another long and tedious exercise, as my good friend said here just now. The ancillary staff would teach you how to clean them and the do's and don'ts when handling them. I recall once being so frustrated that I broke down in tears because I had difficulty in getting the devices in. You have to ensure that when you put them in, there are no halos or bubbles, or you'll have to take them out and start the process all over again. To help you identify the lens, there is a dot at the top of one dot at the top of the right eye, and then 2 at the top of the left. So you don't mix them because they're dots. For the first time in years, I could see my eyelashes. I looked in the mirror and I could see my eyelashes, and I was feeling really good. When I left USA, I was seeing better, but when I returned home, I found that the vision wasn't as good, and devices used to fog up. By midday, I'd have to clean them again. I recall I had to wake up and wake up early in the mornings, 30 to 45 minutes. It took me that long to get them in. Now I'm a pro. I'm a real pro. Actually, I don't know if with the scleral lenses that are used here that they use, I'm just going to, the downside to this is that some of the things that you don't get them here, some of the solutions that I use for my lenses, I don't get here. Some I do, some I don't. But this is for persons who, like me, when I first started, I had to use one of these on. I have forgotten how to use it, but it has a light to where you put this on top. You put the suction cup. I don't know if everybody knows what suction cup is, so for the benefit of those, I'll just show you. Oh, I do. Oh, yes. Sorry, I forgot. Yes, so you take this, the orange one is the larger one to put the lens in, the smaller one is the one to take it out. Do you do that too, right? Yes. Good. So, but this has a light in here. So for persons who have difficulty in getting it, you put the larger suction cup in here. There's a light that shows under there, and you open your eye, you put it down to this, and the lens go in. Very easy. So this is for persons who, I don't know if you can get this here. I don't know if you've been told about this. I don't remember what you call it, but it has a light. I don't use it anymore. So, right, so you put the suction cup in there. So it's for people who have difficulty in getting it in. Suction cup. For the same reason, so light can come up, so you can put that natural light. Yeah. Oh, natural, okay. Similar concept. Oh, I see. Okay. All right.
So this is something that you can purchase?
Yeah, I ordered this. It was an iDrop store, or something like that. I think you can get it from Amazon as well. I don't remember what you call it, but you can get it from Amazon as well.
Share the link in the group.
Yeah, I can do that. Something else I was going to say. Right, so you would see the size of the lens. I am assuming it's the same as what you have. Excuse me, what's your name again? Dwayne. So your lens is like this one here. Is it that size? Is it that big? Okay, well, you see, I didn't even know that they had scleral lenses in Barbados. I never knew until Roseanne told me. I had no idea. Well, actually, my optometrist fitted me in 2015 after I came back to Barbados and I was having problems with the pros. But I was not aware that he fit. He told me this recently, Colleen, that's what I gave you. I gave you the IDCs. I think IDC is a brand, and they wouldn't work. And I'll tell you why they wouldn't work. And that's why he was saying that I should have, I did the right thing by going to BFS as opposed to getting the ones here in Barbados. Anyhow, I recall meeting a young lady in the gym in 2017, and she asked me if I was wearing pros. I was surprised and asked her how she knew, and she said she was wearing them as well. She went to QC, and she said she missed one term, a whole term of work, because she was having challenges with KC. In the end, when she went, she was referred again by Harcourt Carter to BFS, and she said she was no longer having any challenges, and that was like 6 years ago. I'm sorry, I think she was 22 years at the time when I met her. Okay, so some of you may be wondering why I didn't get the scleral lenses here and why I attended BFS. I was fitted here with the IDC scleral lenses, and they were useless due to the advanced nature of my KC, to minimize further contact lens-related corneal trauma and future deterioration of vision. The parameter range challenges with the local scleral lenses, the steepness and bulginess of my cornea all necessitated, I found a need. I had to go in to get the prosthetics customized to suit me, and that's what I was told. The operation. After the after the pros were not as effective as I thought they would have been, I set about looking into getting a cornea transplant. Now the problem was that I wanted to find out who, because I understood that Dr. Barker is the only person who does it here, and I wanted to find out who had a transplant in Barbados. I could not find anybody. I was told there were people from who did it overseas, and I could not find one single person. I did talk to one person, but that person didn't have KC. I think that person had the cornea damage as a result of a parasurgery, and I think it was cataract surgery, and they had to get, I think Dr. Barker worked on them. The person then had a cornea. Not the entire thing, but I think part of it. That's what they told me, and it worked. But apart from that, I knew nobody that had. I knew no one who had a cornea transplant in Barbados, surgery in Barbados. So that's why I opted to go then. I went about looking into getting the cornea transplant. I was scheduled to have the op in the left eye in October last year, but again, I got scared. I was a mess, and I decided, I made the excuse, okay, I don't want to be in Miami during hurricane season, so I decided, well, I will put it back until April this year. Well, my luck ran out, and in October last year, I woke up unable to see from my left eye. There was a massive cloud over it, and I was thinking, maybe I had an infection. I have an infection. I said, well, okay, but I put in my right lens. I was seeing good. Put in the other one, I was still seeing cloud. I couldn't see a thing. So I went to my ophthalmologist, and he said to me I had something called acute eye drops. And Dr. Barker can correct me. He said this happens when the cornea expands and fluid gets into the cornea. Am I right, Dr. Barker? Okay.
Can I ask Keisha if the eye drops eventually? She had eye drops as well.
Oh, okay.
And Green had eye drops as well.
Okay, right. Okay.
That Keisha died.
Right, so then I was placed on sick leave in October initially for 2 weeks. When I returned to the doctor, I was placed on a further leave. I was placed on 2 more weeks sick leave. And when I returned in mid-November last year, I was given the all clear to return to work, to continue to use the drops, to bring forward the surgery. And well, I was really happy that I could go back to work. I hadn't driven at night for a little while, which is why I used to drive during the day with the one contact lens, but I couldn't drive at night without it, so without it too. So I was happy when it was told I could put back in, I can go my merry way, go back to work and stuff like that. So this Saturday I went to Pricemar, I went all over the place, and then in the evening I went to the movies. Went to church the next morning, the Sunday, and by 2 o'clock Sunday afternoon, I found that my eyes started to hurt me really, really bad, and I started getting headaches and stuff like that, and I couldn't understand why. My parents were by me for lunch, and my mom said to me, "But Colleen, your eye it doesn't look good." I said, well, she said it's red. So I went to the mirror and I realized my eye was extremely red. I took out the device, and the headache still continued, so I took some Panadol, went to sleep, woke up the next morning, my head still hurting, the eye still red, and it hurting really bad. So I went to the doctor then on the Monday, and he said to me that I had a relapse, and that he told me not to put back in the device. So I have been on sick leave from last year, October, up to the end of February, when I returned to work 2 weeks ago. And that was because I could not put in the contact lens in my left eye, and I had surgery on the 24th of January of this year. During my sick leave, I was I was very depressed, and I cried a lot, and I kept wondering whether or not I'd be able to work. I was in a dark place. But I had a very good family support system. My family had a number of friends. I had a lot of people who prayed for me. One of my colleagues here, Hudson Ennis, he prayed for me. Jackie and Cecilia, as you know, they were here. The KC was launched on my birthday, so they came to represent me because I was on the island. But I would say that I'm a very strong person. I went through it was really rough. It was not, as I said, not knowing whether or not you're going to be able to work anymore. And I was in a really dark place. But I can say that I had a lot of family support. My friends were there for me. I had a lot of people who were there for me. People who just sent me, I couldn't see very well, but they sent me, if it was big enough, I could read a lot of these inspirational verses. I don't know if people know Lauren Daigle. Lauren Daigle is my inspirational. She's a religious songwriter, singer. And I will listen to her every morning and every night, and she's the one who actually got me to where I am right now. Put all my trust and my faith in God, and I know that things would be okay. So as I said, I know that when I went into that operation room that I was ready. I was scared all along, but I was ready. The op was successful, and I'm still recovering, as you would see from the eye. When my left eye is fully healed, I will have surgery on the right eye. And I'm currently wearing prescriptive glasses to help me to read. For those persons who have recently been diagnosed with KC, I say fear not. You are in good hands. We are all here for one another. With advanced medical science, you can have cross-linking, like what was discussed earlier with Dr. Barker, which will slow down the progression of the KC. I have heard many success stories during this forum, and in my time, the options available now were not available back then. In closing, I'd like to thank the founder, Roseanne Myers, for establishing this support group and spreading awareness to KC patients, their families and friends. I don't think my family understand what it means. I don't think they understand. They know that I've been through problems, but they don't understand. Through this forum, I hope that we can reach as many KC patients as possible. For my part, I'm going to do as much as I can. And actually, I said to myself when I was going through all my stuff, I said, you know, when I'm healed, when I get better, I want to be able to spread the word. And I was so happy to know that we have this support group, and I want to do everything I can possibly do. I can't do a lot right now in terms of reading and stuff, but I will do as much as I can. To those young ones who have been diagnosed and who think it's the end of the world, there are options out there for you. Don't despair, don't give up. Also, through this forum, we will continue to share our experiences with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.